In this video, I'm going to demonstrate some advanced uses of the breakpoint, and specifically, I'm going to show how to get some finer grained control so that your breakpoints can be used a little more programmatically. We've talked about how to enable and disable breakpoints from the breakpoint window, and also from just right-clicking on the breakpoint. But this is going to allow us to breakpoint whenever a value is equal to another value or whenever a condition is true. So we get, again, a finer grained control over how the breakpoint is enacted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a line of code, make a simple breakpoint, and the first thing I'm going to do is right-click and select breakpoint properties. When I do, notice that the file dialog appears, and that basically it says in webform1.aspx on line 48, character 1 is where the breakpoint's set. We can also take a look at the function tab, which says line 22 of the button 1 click event. That's where the breakpoint resides. So the first thing that we're going to do is set a condition. Now, although my breakpoint is set on the on a line that has nothing to do with the value of I, I'm going to go ahead and set the condition whenever I equals 3 and this code hits to this point in its execution, then I want the application to stop. So let's go ahead and test this new breakpoint that we've created. We'll type in 30 and 60. And so let's take a look at, it stopped on this line. What's the value of I? The value of I is 3. So it completed successfully. Excellent. The next thing that I want to demonstrate is how to change the condition to remove this, basically, and select the hit count instead. So what I want to do instead is whenever that breakpoint has been hit 5 times, on the 5th time, I want it to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and select some values here. Now, what I want to do is take a look at the value of I equals 4. But as you can clearly see that we want it to stop when the hit count equals 5. Well, the reason is because when I equals 0 to 4, that would be 5 times that this breakpoint would have been hit. We can also take a look at the columns, and if I can move this over enough, you can see the current value of the hit count. You can see that it says it's currently at 5. So the 5th time that line of code was hit, that's when we're going to break. Now we also talked briefly about the breakpoint window. We can create a new breakpoint straight from here. Let's go ahead and finish out this application. We'll just hit stop. What we can do is create a new breakpoint from here, but we'd have to define everything on our own. You can see that it created a simple breakpoint for us. Let's go to actually view the breakpoint window. But we can also enable and disable breakpoints from this window. We can also delete a breakpoint from this window. We can clear all the breakpoints, or disable all the breakpoints, or enable all the breakpoints. And then we can also use this as a method of finding the source code by clicking the Go to Source Code. So it'll find whatever breakpoint that is currently at. In the columns window, we can also select which language, any data settings, program settings. We can select basically what we want to appear within this breakpoints window. And finally, we can select a breakpoint and then click the properties window to see the breakpoint properties dialog. There's some other things that you can do with breakpoints. For example, you can say at a specific address within the managed memory space, We didn't do this, but whenever a certain condition has changed, so a value has changed, we'll stop whenever I changes, for example. So there's a lot of different options in this regard. We can even change from here the actual line of code where this takes place. And we'll notice that it dropped down from this line to this line. So we can do a lot with breakpoints and also be able to kind of programmatically determine when the application should stop just from using some of these new features about breakpoints within VisualStudio.net. So I hope this helps you come to a better understanding of how to use breakpoints effectively. Thank you.